Hello, I am David W. Parker. This is Programming Today I Learned. Today we're going to be looking at SvelteKit and we're going to use an endpoint to generate and show a sitemap. It'll be a very short episode. I'm going to show you how to do it in two different ways. One way is kind of cheating and one way is not so much. And we will go ahead and take a look. So here's our demo. We have this final sitemap here. You can see it's displayed out and that is it. And here's the entire endpoint. No, just kidding. Let's go ahead and take a look a little bit more. So we have an endpoint here, and we can go ahead and see that it lives under routes/sitemap.xml.js. So you can see it's under /sitemap here, and it's a get function, and we have two different ways to do it here. The first way is we're going to go ahead and I have this new API endpoint, or I'm using the API endpoint rather, in this one. And I'm going to go ahead and fetch to my posts API with published equals true. I'm going to await the JSON response from that, and then I'm going to have a function called render, where I'm going to give it my post data. Give it a couple of headers, one of which is content type application XML. The other one just sets the max age. And then we're going to go ahead and have this render function. I'm going to go ahead and set up all of the tags necessary for sitemap. I'm not going to walk through that. You can look those up yourself or ask below. But those are what you need for a sitemap. And then you can go ahead and start building it out. This is just basically building out a giant string concatenation. We have URL. We have our site. So you might want to predefine that if you're repeating it. Have a last modified to the first published article or blog post to ISO string. Now, of course, that's just because the landing page right now on the site is the list of blog posts. And I'm going to say it changes daily. I have an about page here. It changes yearly, and you can set them manually, set that last modified. And then I'm going to iterate through each of my posts, going through one by one, and then displaying out the URL for each. And I'm going to say the last modified is the published. Though in general, it could be the last comment, or depending on how you want to do that with your API, what's available to you in your headless CMS. And I'm going to say those change daily and join it all together. And then I have this nice little sitemap. So very, very simple. Now, the alternative way to do it, like I said, is a little bit of pre-cheating is I've already pre-created this sitemap. So in my headless CMS, I already have the sitemap over here in localhost 3000. Now, if I go to refresh this, you can see that these are all generated, and they already have the proper URLs. So on this version, we're going to go ahead and get via the sitemap URL. So this is a new environment variable. And since it's already pre-generated over there, all I have to do is get back the text, and then it's done. I don't have to do any kind of API querying, and etc. Now, what is the advantage of doing this pre-generated over the live API version? Well, live API version, my headless CMS has to make SQL queries and pull out each of the posts and then serialize them and send them back as JSON, and then we have to render it out this way. Versus we just have a giant text blob that's already happened, so that's already done. So in general, I'm going to suggest, if you can pre-create your sitemap, this would be a nice and easier, better way to do it. It really depends on your CMS and how your system is set up. But if you need to, and you need to pull from a bunch of different sources perhaps, and you don't have another way to do it, you can also create them on the fly. On one of my sites, I have several tens of thousands of pieces of data that needs to be put together, and so it doesn't really make sense for me to do it dynamically on that site because it has so many pages. So I do it the pre-generated way, but I also have sites where I don't have a lot of pages, but it makes more sense to just go ahead and get it dynamically live all the time. So super short episode. Like I said, just a couple of ways to run through it. And really just depends on your application and how you need it done for your site. So if you like and subscribe to this content, that'd be fantastic. Support me on Patreon if you will. Check me out on Buy Me a Coffee. And I'm going to keep on pumping out the best Svelte data, etc. that I can. Thank you. Bye.